it's a good
I
time.
used to big up early because I want to know what is going on out there.
Yeah, because a lot of things in this country, if you're not early enough, then you might miss a lot, because this syllabus really does go at a different kind of pace. All right, I want us to get into our conversation this particular morning. Let me start with you, Odoyo. Right now, in about an hour's time or so, you see the National Assembly has already, will be making their case before the Senate, and trying to provide evidence that will see the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. There's quite a lot of things that I want us to touch on, but I want us to start with what I just read, and that is the replacement of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, especially coming from the Mount Kenya region. Different times have been fronted, opinion polls have been done, and there's the possibility that the papers reporting that we could be having a new deputy president, if at all Gachagua is going to be impeached. And I know he's in court right now trying to stop a possible swearing in of somebody that could be appointed, quote unquote, to be able to replace him. But the process of getting his replacement has already started. To some extent, they are resolute. The political class is resolute that this is done.
I think what he started is not really getting his replacement. Mm-hmm. What is started is the debate on his possible replacement. Mm-hmm. Gachagua's possible replacement is pretty much decided. I do not know who he is or who she is, but it is pretty much decided. I don't think President William Ruto is asleep. I have always known him since 1991 as a forward planner. Mm-hmm. He will plan everything ahead of you. By the time you go there and put roadblocks, he's well past that, or he knew what type of roadblock you are going to use and is planned. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure now he knows that impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua is inevitable, mm-hmm. and he's probably ready with the name to tell Parliament, mm-hmm. and Parliament will then vet and we would have a new DP. So saying that it's the road to getting one, no, that is already decided. In any case, it is the prerogative of the president to nominate who is his DP. And at this time, I am sure he's going to be very careful to name somebody who would not undermine him in any way or undermine the Constitution.
Do you believe he regrets choosing the deputy president as his deputy in the run-up to the 2022 elections?
I don't know if he does regret, but if it were me, I would regret.
Why?
What the president has gone through in the hands of his deputy is not acceptable. I think this impeachment should have even come much earlier. You remember when
you say what he has gone through in the hands of his deputy. What has he gone through?
What has he gone through?
Yeah.
I think I once sat here and told you I have worked with the president in a few functions, and I have seen the way the deputy president behaves. I have the benefit of having grown up during the Moi regime, and I would see one day we would go to Uhuru Park to celebrate Labor Day. Mm-hmm. Then the then vice president would stand up to welcome the president. He would greet the people and then say it is his singular pleasure now to invite Mutukufu Rais to address his people. Now, that is the loyalty expected from a DP. You have no position of your own. You are a principal assistant. You are a spare wheel in case the president is not there. You can be called upon to act. But the DP has been behaving like he's a co-president. In fact, he never shies at saying, my government and President William Ruto. He said it multiple times.
Is it wrong to say that, basing his debate, or rather his reasoning behind that they were elected as a pair, campaigned together and all that?
There's no election as a pair. If you look at the Constitution, electing the president is there, not electing the DP. And the only thing the Constitution demands of them is that the president nominates his deputy before the elections. It's not saying he nominates somebody who will be voted for as him. So let's get the Constitution correctly. We make this thing wrong so that the people also get it wrong because we are the leaders. And something that I always want to say, and I keep saying, that the DP we have today, Rigathi Gachagua, was presented to Kenyans by President William Ruto. In fact, to be specific, it is President William Ruto who gave the Mount Kenya Rigathi Gachagua. It is not Mount Kenya who gave President William Ruto Rigathi Gachagua. So he was a creation of President William Ruto. When your own creation undermines you to the extent which I saw, let me tell you just two cases. When the Gen Zs breached parliament, Rigathi Gachagua speaking in Mombasa without reference to the president is in any way was the height of undermining your boss. It was not accident that he was there at that point in time. And I told you I once attended a road launch in Bobasi, in which when the president called the deputy president to come and speak, his body language was telling, but when he stood to speak, he used 1.5 minutes and walked away and sat in his car as the president went on with the program. That is the height of it. It couldn't be any worse.
So that's what you're confirming, that in terms of the kind of humiliation, quote unquote, the president has gone through, you think the deputy president has been very disrespectful to the president? He's
been very disrespectful, but you see, I have also had commentators saying, oh, you see, there's a problem between the president and the deputy. Of course there is, but the greatest problem Rigathi Gachagua has is with the Constitution of Kenya, not with President William Ruto. It is the Constitution of Kenya that is impeaching him, not President William Ruto.
Okay, does the deputy president, is he at loggerheads with the Constitution or with the president?
That's a very interesting question, and it's rather unfortunate when you see Parliament being excited of such an impeachment, and it has come very fast, because as far as I'm concerned, and as my memory can remind me of impeachment motions that have been there before, this one has come very fast. It's like it was already designed and premeditated and decided upon. So it's really unfortunate that I see our parliament rubber stamping that and really excited about the impeachment, instead of them focusing with the major issues that are affecting our country and the common mwananchi. So the DP, I don't want to speak on his behalf or anything, but I don't think he's at loggerhead with the Constitution. But I think they have differed with the president, who they ran this campaign they ran the campaign together, and they came as a package. And no wonder you find there are these slogans that are going on. Kufa dereva, kufa makanga, and there's a mechanic that is being introduced. And the mechanic is really doing a lot of harm to the bus. And I think it's a bad precedence that we are setting in Kenya, because tomorrow anybody else would be the president or the deputy president, and you go through the same thing. But I think if I were the president, if the president really means well and is really interested with each and every Kenyan, not about the mountain, I would stop the impeachment motion, because there's a lot that is actually, I don't even know whether he sleeps well. I don't know.
Why do you think he hasn't stepped up to stop this particular motion? Is it because with what Owidi is saying, he's been through so much in the hands of his deputy?
No, there is nothing that he has been through so much in the hands of the of his deputy, because you cannot tell me that a deputy principal has more problems than the principal himself. You know, in this case, we have the president who is flawed in very many areas, you know, and the buck stops at him. I mean, even if he wants to sack the current deputy president, I mean, it will go into record, and I think he'll be among the fastest to be impeached, you know, or to be removed from office. But I think their differences, they would have sorted them out the way they came out as a package. And the president should not be laughing and feeling good and seeing everything is correct.
Right.
Because the same way, if today the deputy president is impeached, for example, he'll have nothing to do. So he'll go into opposition and maybe into businesses or do other things. He may not have vied, he may not vie or get into any public office. But then I think from where I stand, I would rather have the person allowed me than when they are outside there, because they can cause even more damage, you know, in my view. And I think this divorce...
If you ask
yes,
already that particular question, he'll tell you, you rather... Because there's a comment that was made, and I believe that was Kikuyu Member of Parliament, Kimani Ichung'wah, who said... that snake, that viper, that is, you know, you need to shake it off.
No, forget about the leader of majority. I mean, he is full of himself and his stomach is full, and therefore he can say anything. He is suffering from something we call verbal diarrhea. And I think this divorce, if it happens, it will be one of the most noisiest and crazy divorce that we'll ever see, because it will be messy. It will not go down without a fight. You know, we have not seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything yet. Until that divorce is, you know, pinned down, I can tell you it will not be the same. And you know, the member of parliament, they should be very worried about what is happening. I saw one of the member of parliament, unfortunately, I was allowed that area, and I saw it. He was actually chased by people and being told, we are going to pay what you are taking here, so just leave. We do not want, we do not even want you to, you know, what is going to happen, and it is important we raise these issues very straight. When a revolution is coming, a revolution can actually eat its own people or outside. Okay. And in this case, what is going to happen, if I may predict, is that the public will take issues in their hand, because they will have seen if the courts are not being followed, if there's no law being followed, there's no constitution being observed, and all that. And therefore, they're going to take things in their hands. And what we are going to expect, it will be worse before it gets better. Okay. Yes.
Really, it will be worse before it gets better. From what she's mentioned, we already seeing to some extent, some MPs, especially from the mountain, you know, facing the people's wrath when it comes to not wanting to be associated with them, and, you know, being in the same environment. Somehow a revolt that is happening at the moment. Is this likely to go on for a minute, or is it something that is going to subside as soon as we are done with this particular impeachment?
It will subsidize even before this is complete. You know, you are very clear that that revolt is in Mount Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua was the DP for the whole Republic of Kenya. Such protests...
It is.
Okay, but it's already been impeached. Such protests are not witnessed in Nyanza, they are not witnessed in Western, they are not witnessed in Northeastern, they are not witnessed in Eastern, they are not witnessed in the coast. I saw them in Murang'a and Nyeri. So Kenya is largely ethnic, and you can whip ethnic emotions very easily. We have seen here elections since the multi-party. The people of Nyanza have always revolted and have always believed one of their own has been denied the presidency. And they believe it, you cannot stop them. There is no amount of explanation. There is no amount of law. There is no amount of pep talk that you will tell them, and they believe that it didn't happen. Similarly, I think that is a script Rigiji read from and said, I am going to brainwash my people in Mount Kenya and make them believe I am now being persecuted. I saw the way the DP behaved. He took a suitcase, documented his journey from Nairobi to Mombasa airport and even in the hotel corridors for the very first time. What was that for? He wanted to send a message to his people, I'm being persecuted. See how I carry my suitcase myself. See how I travel in public airlines. Honestly, what was that for? So the way he's been acting, he's been trying to brainwash his people. He's been trying to be their darling. And I think he's been caught before he fully achieved that. Okay. And I said here before, if Rigiji does not go home, the people who will suffer most would be the people of Mount Kenya.
Why would you say that?
Because he will make himself the kingpin there. And as tyrant as he is, nobody will be elected without kneeling before him. Nobody. I remember him saying recently that those who do not listen to the ground, he's giving them up to December, or they will never see any election. That ground you're supposed to be listening to is what Rigiji is saying, because he even told them he's the only one who listens to the ground. So listen to him. He tells you what is going on the ground, and if you don't, you will not be re-elected. And he's only giving them after December. After that, even if you now come back and say, sir, I want to listen to the ground, let me be elected, you will not be. So he's trying to create a tyrant. There will never be a tyrant in Mount Kenya than Rigiji if he continues. So the people who will suffer most are the people of Mount Kenya, the ones in which he will have captured and brainwashed the people the way we people of Ziwa have been in the last 30 years.
Okay, you've been brainwashed by who?
Boss, let's proceed.
Okay, I do want to take a break, but before you do that, I just want to bring your attention to this. So you know Glen Washington, right? Yes, so there's an event coming up this Saturday at KICC from 6 p.m. until late. So if you're a fan of reggae and his music, you can get your tickets by dialing *519* 55 hash to get those tickets so that you get to attend this particular event on Saturday, which will be happening at KICC from 6 p.m. until later. Okay, yes, that is Glen Washington, and I believe you'll see his advert running here on K24 so that you get to attend that particular event. We are taking a break. We'll be back in a few, and I'll be telling you more about Glen Washington when we come back, and also continue with our conversation this morning.